Hello everyone, welcome to my class today. Today we'll see a topic in nursing foundation, which is the continuation of perioperative nursing. In that we'll see the intraoperative care. If you are the first time watching my video, please like, share, subscribe and click the notification button and stay tuned. So intraoperative phase means it is the period from the time when the patient is coming into the operating room and getting anesthesia and the surgical procedure is done, and the time he is transported to the recovery room. So in between this time is called as the intraoperative phase, and it is a challenging environment because everyone working in this area must have a specialized skills and also training so that they can work in that environment. And during this phase the nurses has to apply the nursing process so that it will provide a framework for delivering the nursing care, and the nursing process should be based on the current health status and the surgical intervention which is done for the patient. Okay, so coming to the definition of intraoperative care, so it is the care that is provided during operation and also around the time of operation. So in this time we monitor the patient vital signs, the oxygen levels and fluid therapy, medication, transfusion, anesthesia or any radiographic procedures to be done, and also samples has to be collected. Like anytime when we do a surgery, we collect the sample and send for investigation. So all these procedures are carried out during the intraoperative care. So nursing care must be based on the surgical client, and we have to continuously assess the physiological, psychological status of the client and promote safety, prevent infection and also promote healing in this intraoperative care. So coming to the physical setup, so mainly we have, there is a surgical suit is a controlled environment which is designed to prevent the spread of microorganisms and also smooth flow of patients. So only minimal number of patients and staffs are allowed in this area, and the instrument, equipment, everything should be safe for patient care. And holding area is near to the operating room. So here the patient will be waiting for some time until their turn for surgery has come. Okay, so it is immediate before the surgery the patient will be kept in an area called as holding area. And operating room is where the surgical procedure is carried out. So it is controlled geographically, that means only a small space will be there to do surgery, and physically that means so many members are not allowed, and biologically it is free from infection, and also they are restricted with inflow and outflow of staffs. And the surgical suit consists of three areas. One is unrestricted area, semi-restricted and the restricted area. So unrestricted area is even with ordinary clothes, like outside staff members can come in this area and they can meet with the scrub nurses and share information, like in nurses station or the control desk which is outside the operation theater is called as the unrestricted area. And semi-restricted area is the peripheral area on the corridors. Here the only authorized personnel, that means whoever is working inside the operation room only is allowed to access this area, and whenever any person enter this area they should wear mask, surgical, all the gloves, gowning, everything should be done, and also cap should be worn to cover the head and the facial hair. And next is the restricted area. So here only the surgical team members, that is the persons who are performing surgery, will be allowed. This area is where the operating table is there and a surgical environment or a sterile environment is maintained. Okay, next is the holding area. So here the patient will stay for a minimal time before the surgery. Here any information should be given from the preoperative nurse to the intraoperative nurse that can be shared, or any minor procedures can be performed in this holding area. And this area is very useful for outpatient surgical patients, so they can come in the early morning here, and any investigation should be carried out, can be carried, then the patient will be sent for surgical procedure, and later in the evening the patient can be shifted. So it is mainly useful for outpatient surgical patients, and it will prevent the length of time of stay in the hospital, and also overnight stays in the hospital can be avoided with the help of holding area. And next is operating room. So it is a busy place, and it is also called heart of the hospital because most surgeries are done in this area. and this operating room should be designed in such a way they can do investigative or diagnostic, therapeutic, palliative procedures. So any type of invasive procedures can be carried out in this area. It should provide maximum benefit, and the maximum number of patients can get treated or get surgical procedure done at the same time. So like that, there should be a place for extending the operating room. So when we design an operation room, so we have to see the number and size. So that means the size of the operation room should be adequate enough for flow of all the personal, trolley, stretchers, monitoring equipment. So whatever is needed, so we have to keep. So everything it should accommodate. So like that, it should be, the space should be adequate. And also if it is a cardiac or neurosurgery operation theater, then there should be a wide space for surgery, because so many surgeons will be there in order to perform the surgery. And if it is a minor surgery or endoscopy, then the floor space can be small. And doors should be of adequate width, like 1.2 to 1.5 meter, and all the doors should be of a spring type so that it will close automatically. And in the between the door fitting should be made of stainless steel. Okay, and also flooring. So flooring should be non slippery, and it should be easily washable, and also you can fumigate so that it will prevent the microorganisms. So and it has to withstand all the germicidal agents. Okay, so it has to withstand the chemicals, and also it has to withstand the unnecessary sound. Okay, and floor should be such a way that even if the needle is dropped, it should be visible. Next, coming to the walls and the floor surfaces. So all the ceilings should be fire resistant, smooth and non-porous, so that water and other unwanted things should not come inside. And the color should be light in color and also easily washable. And the paint should be in such a way it is soothing to the eyes. And electric point should be less than 1.5 meter kept from the floor, so that easily we can put on the monitoring devices. And scrub station, so you have to have a sterile hand wash area, so it may be made of stainless steel, granite or marble. And basin should be forward and downward, so that water will not splash on the person who is scrubbing. Okay, so outlet should be there. And hot water mixing, like automatic or manual mixing, can be there, so that in winters it will help. And non-splashing types of tap should be there. And elbow or foot control tap should be there, because once we scrub we should not touch the taps. And automatic soap dispenser should also be there. And it should be 2 to 3 persons can scrub at a time, so like that it should be built. Okay, and ventilation, so there should be adequate ventilation, and also the temperature should be controlled in lower temperature should be there, and there should not be humidity in the operating room. Okay, so all the principles of ventilation should be followed. So there should be recirculating and non-recirculating system should be there for the air to recircle. Okay, and always if there is 2 or 3 operation theaters near, so there should not be ventilation between 2 operation theaters, because some airborne particles can shift from one place to other. Okay, and next is lighting. So there should be adequate fluorescent lamps present in the operating room. So and also corridors, every area of the surgical suite should be adequately lighted. The intensity of the light should not exceed 1:5. Okay, so preferably 1:3. And overhead ceiling mounted light should be there for easy visualization of the inside body parts. And the operating light should be near daylight in color and shadow light. So these are the measurements for lighting. And coming to other facilities, so there should be an emergency signal. So whenever there is emergency, we have to call the other persons for helping in any life threatening conditions. And generator, in case of any electricity failure, we can use generators. So automatic generating system should be there. And oxygen suction system, so these all should be wall mounted, so that it is easy to provide oxygen from the central supply system. Okay, and musical system, mainly in the operation theater, mild music will give a pleasant environment for both patients and staff, so it will relieve tension. and also provide relaxation for the patient. Okay, and computer and internet system should be there in order to document and record the patient's information. Okay, and then the surgical team, so there are surgeons, so surgeons are the person who are doing the surgery, and anesthetists, so these are the one who will induce the anesthesia so that patient will not have the pain during surgery. So they are responsible for monitoring the satisfactory degree of anesthesia given for the patient, and also they will see for any complication and advise the surgeon regarding the patient's prognosis. And there should be a scrub nurse, so she will be a sterile nurse who is assisting the surgeon in passing the equipments, instruments, and also helping in draping and other procedures. And circulatory nurse will respond for all the requests, so like whatever is needed during the surgery, any supplies, everything will be done by the circulatory nurse. Okay, and when we see the role of circulatory nurse, so she should see the cleanliness of the room, proper temperature, humidity is maintained, equipment safety, and also all the supplies materials are available should be checked, and she should coordinate with other personnel from the intraoperative area to the outside area and help in transferring the patient in the operating bed, and any insertion and application like electrode application or any urinary catheters or IV catheter should be inserted, that has to be done by the circulatory nurse. And she should assist the anesthetist in inducing anesthesia, and throughout the operation procedure she has to ensure the safety of the patient and document the intraoperative care provided, amount of blood loss or fluid loss taken, if any specimens are collected during the surgical procedure, so that has to be properly recorded, labeled, and sent to the appropriate laboratories, and coordinate with other staff members in the surgical area, and accompany the client to the post anesthetic care unit or the recovery room or post operative care unit, and report all the information of the patient to the recovery nurse. Okay, and role of the scrub nurse, so she will be in the sterile field, so she will review the surgical procedure, that means she must know the anatomy physiology of regarding the surgery, and she is responsible to maintain a sterile environment, so she has to put on scrub and put on all the gloves, gowns, and maintain sterility, and she should prepare the table with all the equipments that are needed during the surgery, and assist the surgeon in draping procedure, pass the instrument to surgeons, and count the sponge, needle, and instrument so that it is not accidentally left inside the patient's body, and monitor and practice aseptic technique in self and others. So she should maintain asepsis and record if there is a how many irrigation solutions like IV solutions or any solutions used, and what is the blood loss, and if needed any blood transfusion, so everything has to have a record, and all the anesthetic medication, other medications in the surgical procedure will be reported and recorded by the scrub nurse. Okay, and nursing management during surgery, so there are 9 management. First is room preparation, transferring client surgical attire, it's nothing but scrubbing, gowning, and gloving, and maintaining asepsis, assisting in anesthetic care, patient safety, positioning the client, preparing the surgical suit, and patient care after surgery. So let's see one by one. So first is room preparation. So here before the client is transferred to the operating room, so it should be prepared in such a way it has it is safe and it is having privacy and no infection is there. And surgical attire should be worn. Attire is nothing but the gowns, gloves, caps, mask, everything should be worn by everyone who are entering the operating room. All the equipment functioning should be seen, and aseptic technique should be practiced in handling all equipments and instruments. Sponges, needles, instruments should be counted and arranged systematically, and to ensure that accurately they are removed from the surgical area after the surgery. Okay, and next is transferring the client. So once the room is ready, then we can transport the client. Care should be taken that whenever we transfer the patient, the wheels are locked so that it will prevent accidental falls. And once patient is shifted in operating, that is trap the patient on the operating table loosely. Okay, it should not be tight. And at this time all the leads, BP cuff, pulse oximetry, whatever should be applied, we can apply it for continuous monitoring of the patient. And if needed, IV catheters, if it is not in place, that can be inserted. Okay, next is surgical attire. So here we have to do scrubbing, gowning and gloving. So while scrubbing, we have to use antiseptic solution, and that solution should be non-irritating and it should reduce the microorganism in the skin. And always scrub the fingers and hands first before coming to the fist and elbows. And after scrubbing, we have to raise the hand above our hip level, so that it will prevent the unclean water draining in the hand, and also keep the hands away from the clothing, so that it will prevent contamination. Okay, and same way gowning. So there is a procedure for gowning, how to open the gown and insert the hands, and then you have to ask assistant to tie the gown from the back. And also there is a gloving procedure, how to take the first gloves and second gloves should be taken, and we have to see whether the fingers are fitting properly inside the gloves. Next is maintaining asepsis. So all items that enter the sterile field is called sterile, and if the sterile item will touch the unsterile area, it is called contaminated. Once it is contaminated, we have to remove them from the sterile field. And all members who are entering the surgical area should wear sterile gloves, gowns and masks, and there should be a wide margin area in between the sterile and the unsterile field, so that it will prevent contamination. And every time above the table on the top level, it is considered sterile, whereas below the table it is contaminated. Anything which falls down, we should not take and keep it in the sterile area. Okay, and edges of the sterile pack. So all the packs, the edges are considered unsterile, only the inside area is sterile. And if there is excessive air current in the form of fan, it can contaminate through airborne particles. So you have to prevent excessive movement of air in the surgical room. And next is assisting in anesthetic care. So the anesthetist will prepare for administration of anesthetic medication. So nurse must know all the mechanism of action of the anesthetic drug, and also should be aware where all the anesthetic medication, emergency drugs and other equipments are placed in the operating room, and also monitoring devices, everything the nurse should know where it is placed and whether it is in working condition. And if patient is receiving general anesthesia, then throughout the procedure, nurse should monitor the vital signs and also ensure the patient airway is maintained. Okay, next is patient safety. So the room must be in such a way it is safe for the patient, and also wrong site, wrong procedure and wrong surgery. So these all we have to prevent. That is a universal goal for safety, and all the surgical team members must clarify the client with identification, the procedure, the surgical site for doing operation. Everything should be clarified before starting the surgery. Okay, then certain accreditation organizations have given protocols and guidelines, like having a checklist before doing the surgery. So we have to follow all the protocols, and care must be taken that all the electrosurgical equipments are in working condition. So if they are in repair, all the working condition, everything should be checked. So if there is some short circuit, then it can cause injury and burn. So this all has to be prevented, and we must see the safety. And next is positioning of the client. Okay, so during surgery, patient will be unconscious and he may not know how to position himself. So it is the duty of the nurse to position the client. So you have to use correct skeletal alignment will be given. You should not give pressure to the skin, bony prominences and nerves, so which can cause damage to the body part. And we have to give enough space for the lungs to expand, so that is thoracic exertion, and prevent occlusion of arteries and veins by tying something on the patient's body, and provide minimal exposure. Okay, so only the area where the operation is done, only that area should be exposed. And we have to respect the individual positioning needs. Like previously, if the patient had some pain or any deformities in a particular place, then that area has to be positioned with comfort and care. And next, preparing the surgical site. So before doing the surgery, so the area where the surgery is done, that skin has been mechanically scrubbed and cleansed with any antimicrobial solution, and that should be non-allergic to the client. And any hair in that area should be removed. And also whenever we are preparing, we have to prepare the wider area. Also any unexpected occurrence during the procedure is happening, that can help to prevent the infection. Okay, and I have to drape the area where the skin is prepared, and only the incision site has to be left opened. And patient care after surgery. So during the surgery also we have to constantly observe for the patient till the end of the procedure. And also when the surgical procedure is about to end, the anesthetic dose should be reduced so that we can easily awaken the patient. And client's response to the nursing care has to be evaluated based on the care plan and the outcome criteria. And all the surgical procedure, like how many hours surgery was done, and what was the surgery, what was the blood loss, what was the vital signs of the person, all those things should be documented in the nurse's record. And also the patient should be shifted with an accompanying nurse to the recovery room, and what all post-operative advice and status, everything should, or information should be communicated to the recovery nurse, so that there will be a safe and continuing care. So I hope you have understood my class. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, subscribe, and click the notification button, and stay tuned.